going early as impossible. So, okay, let's go live. Hey, Happy New Year, everybody. Welcome to our first 2024 edition of our Homebuyer Seminar. I'm Bill Gross, real estate broker in Los Angeles, along with my colleague.
Yes, Patricia Castillo.
And our good friend and mortgage loan officer.
Gustavo Segura. Happy New Year, everybody.
And this is our Homebuyer Seminar. We do this every Wednesday. We do it at 4 p.m. or 5 p.m. Wednesday Pacific time. We live stream this on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube, and Twitter, or X, and Rumble. Love to have you guys join us on that. And Happy New Year, Patricia. Happy New Year, Gustavo. What's going on?
Happy New Year.
The whole band's back.
That's right. Excited to be here.
Yeah. So what's happening in the marketplace? Is the market dead? Nobody's buying anything? What's going on?
No, actually, it's it's been pretty busy. Right now, I see a lot of buyers that are re-entering the market, and especially with the rates coming down just a little bit. I mean, it does bring a lot of excitement to the market because people have been waiting for this to happen. So I have a couple of listings right now that, we're getting some activity on. And so it's looking like it's starting to pick up right now. I feel like the spring market is starting now.
Yeah, I think the rates have really given a nice boost to activity. Gustavo, what do you see?
Yeah, that's exactly right. I think a lot of people that saw those 8%, back in October, November, they were like, "Now I'm going to sit it out." I think now the question or the issue that might be at hand is for how long, because there's some people that are like, "See, if they finally came down, I can wait another 6 months." I can wait another 9 months until it goes down, and that's going to save me an extra $200 a month. And what's going to be in 9 months is going to be a very different market. So that's what I'm trying to get across to people now. It's like, yes, it's coming down. It's great news, but it's not one of those things where you just wait and it's just going to keep on getting better all the way around.
Mm-hmm. And to that, you came up with a great chart, Gustavo, that shows the drop in rates. Now, this is kind of hard to see. Let me see if I can increase the size a little bit.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, and
okay.
And this is perfect because it leads right into this. This is something that I dug out from back in October, November, when rates did hit 8%. And just by moving from 7 to 8%, this research company here, John Burns Research and Consulting, they saw that about 5 million households left the market. So they said, "I'm going to stop. I'm going to wait, and I'm not going to shop right now." And this is what's going to happen. So now that we're down from 7 to 8, I'm pretty sure now we have those 5 million coming back in, plus some more,
Because we're a quarter way down past that even. Right?
Yeah,
6.75, so we're actually a little below that even.
Exactly. So I definitely see, more than the 5 million coming into the market. And then, we talk about what's going to happen if people wait 6 months, and if the rate stays where it's at or it goes down 0.5% more. I think this shows clearly that, there's data out there that shows that as rates come down, more buyers are coming into the market, and that's going to put pressure on, the competition, every listing. Are you going to be able to get that house as easily? Are you going to get a lot more competition and overbidding? Things that happen when the rate was at 3%. Look at that, 50 million households would qualify for that, and that's why you were seeing 25,000, 50,000 over asking. In some cases, I even saw over $100,000 over asking price.
Yeah.
So there's nothing you can do after you buy that over 100,000 over asking. That's the sale price. You already bought that house, and that's it. You can't go back and renegotiate that. So something to keep in mind as we see buyers coming in. This is what I'm trying to show them, which is why I dug out this chart. I'm circulating this around again so that they can visually understand what's going to happen.
That door opens and closes both ways. And so just as the rise in rates priced out 5 million people, the drop in rates has put 5 million people back in the market. We're a quarter way past that, so probably another million or so are able to get in. And yet we don't have 5 million more houses, right? There's only X number of houses for sale in America. I think last year we did $4 million in sales. And so if you think of that number, 4 million in sales, 22 million people, even with less people buying, there are 5 buyers for every house. And so while the drop in rates will cause some sellers to sell to buy a new house, it won't go up along with that. And so the dropping rates will create more buyers faster than will create new houses. That's the challenge for buyers who want to wait.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And the other thing with waiting is that, for example, when there are grants that are available for down payment assistance, closing costs, things like that, those grants may be exhausted by 6 months from now because the funds are available until the accounts get depleted. So buyers that are taking advantage of these opportunities and using the grants that they do not have to repay are able to get that assistance with their closing costs and down payment. And if you wait for 6 or 8 months, some of those funds are going to be gone and the programs are not going to be available anymore.
And that's not to say everybody should buy a house. That's just to say if you can afford to buy one, and buying a house is a good investment for you today, it's better today than to wait because it will appreciate in value. If mortgage rates go down, you'll be able to refinance and lower your rate, and you'll avoid the competition of other people trying to buy the house so you won't miss out. So again, I just make sure we're clear. We're not saying everybody should buy a house. I think everybody should buy real estate and enjoy the tax and the wealth benefits. But if you can't afford it, that's not who we're talking to. But if you can, waiting makes no sense. There's no scenario that I can think of because even if you're right, if rates were to go down to 3% in 6 months, there'd be so many buyers for those houses, you're never going to get anything. It's just it would just be a friends like it was 2 years ago.
Right.
Yeah. There you go. So I know I just took a new listing and I got 2 offers on it within the first day or 2 on it. We haven't shown the property yet. We haven't got locks on the property yet. So I know that there's people out there looking for properties. What do you see, Gustavo? Are buyers getting the documents together, getting ready to take advantage of the opportunities, or are they still sitting back?
That's the thing. It's a call, right? Right now, I think I'm seeing people. Yes, let's find out. But again, something that I think I touched on last week or last time we were on is they're afraid to move that next step. Like if getting me documents means like I'm getting a loan, and it's not. It's let me see how much you qualify for. Just because you sent me some documents about your income, or we took a look at your credit scenario, it's not like it's over and you already got a loan. You're not committed to it. So that's the other thing too. I know it's a fearful process, especially for first-time home buyers going through it, that they feel like if they submit documents, they already got a loan in the process, and it's not the case. We definitely want to take a look at it. It's the smart way to do it so that you don't waste time going out there looking and daydreaming about a $700,000 home when you can only afford a $500,000. So.
Well, it's really the opposite, right? You can't be in a position to buy without going through the paperwork. But just because you do all the paperwork, that puts you in position to choose. Now you're the picker. You don't buy the house, you don't, once you're qualified. But if you don't do that, too many, and I think this is one of the challenges of the internet. People feel like they're so empowered because you can go online and write a bad review at the local, restaurant. Well, that's true, but you're not going to get a house just because you're going to write a bunch of reviews on Google. If you're not qualified and have the paperwork together, you're not going to get the house. You're not going to get your offer accepted. And that's where it's not that you're not, and I don't care if you were a billionaire, having listened to billionaires who buy investment property, the same's true of them. They have personal bankers. They have all their documents on file. They update them regularly. And that's part of their team because they can't buy a property without their team getting the financing put together. So we're all kind of in the same boat as far as that goes.
Yeah, and I think that's what Gustavo just touched on is so important, is having all of your documentation ready to go. I've had clients that have sent me a text message with a pay stub and then another text message with a W-2. And, it's really not a good way of sending those types of documents with all of your personal information on it. It's just through a text. So it really is important to use the portals that are in place that the lenders have and upload documents there. Like with Gustavo, he has a portal that clients can use as well. So it's really important to keep your private information secure and use the portals that are available to upload your documents. And then the approval, once everything is in place, it just takes maybe a day at most to get everything verified and get the approval going. So it's so important to have all the documents to avoid any delays.
Gustavo in his
Yep.
portal. He just plays with his portal all day
Yeah.
long. He doesn't really do any work.
Yeah, and that is true. It's like we get the documents, and like I said, in a day we can figure things out, and we can give them all their options. We can say you qualify for a 500,000. Here's your rate now. Here's a specific rate because of your credit history and your credit profile. Yes, online you may see that someone's offering a 6% rate, but in reality that has 2 or 3 points, or maybe you don't qualify for that. Or maybe that's just false advertising. There's all those things happening. So when I go through and I look at your individual scenario, now you're going to know that all those things don't apply for XYZ reason. And now you have a better understanding of where you're at. And if you're ready to go within a day or two, now you see a house, you see an offer that you want to put together, and now you're ready to go. As Bill said, there's millionaires and billionaires that are always updating with their financial planners because they want to be able to make that quick decision and say, buy that place. Submit all my information over there and buy that place. So you definitely want to do that as well. Be ready in order to make an offer.
I read the story of Elon Musk buying what was Twitter, now X, and at the time one of the richest men in the world. He went to his banker to get that lined up before he made the offer. He's the richest man in the world. Who's going to say no to lending him money? Well, his finances are complicated, and the reality is, doesn't matter how much money you make, people want to see the paperwork, and the banks have legal obligations to have certain paperwork and certain documents in place. And so it's really important to have everything put together before you start. Otherwise, you're not going to get it. And I think consumers, go online and they surf on news, and they call the news fake, and then they wonder why the advertiser on the news, Lending Tree, has interest rates like 0%. Well, why is the news fake and the advertising's not? And I can just tell you, based on my experience, those rates are advertised, you're never going to get them, ever. I cannot tell you how many times I've seen articles on like CNN saying rates jump from 7 to 8%, and the advertisement rate for Lending Tree still shows rates of 7%. It's like, but the news article just said they went up. Those rates are no longer any good. And for many companies, those are just bait and switch tactics. And so it's important to have a team member who can help you structure your deal. Like Patricia said, find the grant money that's available, structure the right loan for you, help your agent negotiate closing costs on your behalf. All those are things we can do when we plan together and work together. We can't do otherwise. So home sales overall, to me, still seems pretty strong here in Southern California. People, they're not building any more houses, and people seem to buy the houses come to the market pretty quickly. What do you see, Patricia, as far as new properties?
Yeah, I'm actually running a comp analysis right now for a buyer that we're looking at maybe making an offer in Monrovia. And a lot of the homes are going, pending within a week, within 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So it's horrific. I mean, people are back to business, back from the holidays. Home buyers that were serious about buying homes, they're definitely out there.
Now, Monrovia, are you allowed north of the 10 freeway?
What's that?
Are you allowed north of the 10 freeway?
Sure, why not?
I don't know, just checking on. I know you're the queen of the 562 there in Downey, the Beverly Hills, the 562. I didn't know you go to Monrovia. But you go to the Inland Empire, I know you've got the IE quite a bit too. So, yeah, you're definitely going to go where your customers need you. Okay, good. So, any last comments, Gustavo? How you want to leave people for the week? What's their charge? What should we work on?
Well, you know what? As always, I like to give people an update also on the news. We got inflation reports coming out this week here Thursday, Friday. So that will be key. Every time inflation comes down or every time there's a move there, the market reacts to that. So I don't think there'll be a big drop, but I think we're going to continue to see rates where they're at. So if you're looking to buy, let's get those documents in. Let's see where you're at and have a more realistic expectation of what your scenario could be like, so you can be ready to go.
Very good. Patricia, any last thoughts?
Yes, I wanted to just mention that a lot of these home buying grants are still available, and there's funds in the grants now. So if you are interested, this doesn't mean that we're going to, try to pressure you into doing anything. It's basically what you can do right now and if you want to, but it's just giving you the information on the grants that you can utilize to help with your closing costs. So there's plenty of money out there to use, and that's money that you don't have to repay.
And being strategic, getting your grant money if that's available to you, getting the right loan to save some money, maybe getting some closing costs paid for. All those are the advantages of preparing ahead of time. I just want to show real quick a slide I saw just looking at the interest rates for the last few years.
Mhm.
Take a look at this wild ride here. This is just make it a little bigger. There we go. Look at this thing. The rates have been all this time 3s and 4s and 4.5s and down to 2. And then, of course, we had the pandemic period and we had some changes. And you
Right.
can just see lately how we dropped back down. Now, I'm not saying they're going to go back down to this rate necessarily right away. I mean, they could. But
Mhm.
certainly this period has been a historic rise we've gone through. And if you can still afford a house now, from a historical perspective, you might enjoy at some point in the future some free ride drops. If you can afford a house today, again, if it makes sense for you to buy a house today, it'll probably be a good deal from you a year from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now, and 10 years from now. So if we can help you make that happen, call Patricia, call Gustavo, reach out to me if I can help you guys. Put comments in the chat box. And thank you all, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. Guys, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
We'll talk
Bye-bye.
soon. Bye-bye.